Prologue. Sophie Beckett, an illegitimate child, is left on the doorstep of the Earl of Penwood, who acknowledges her as his ward. She grows up under the care of the household staff, knowing she is the Earl's daughter, but never being publicly acknowledged. Sophie's life changes when the Earl marries Araminta, a woman with two daughters, Rosamond and Posy. Araminta is cold and cruel to Sophie, treating her as a servant rather than a stepdaughter. Despite her initial excitement at the prospect of having sisters, Sophie quickly realizes that Rosamond and Posy will not be her friends. The Earl's sudden death leaves Sophie at the mercy of her stepmother. Araminta continues to mistreat Sophie, and the household staff can do little to protect her. Sophie's life becomes one of servitude, filled with chores and constant belittlement. Her dreams of a better life seem impossible, until she hears about the upcoming Bridgerton masquerade ball. A glimmer of hope in her bleak existence. Chapter 1. The season of 1815 is in full swing, and society is abuzz with the upcoming Bridgerton masquerade ball. Benedict Bridgerton, the eldest unmarried Bridgerton brother, is the subject of much speculation and interest among the debutantes and their ambitious mothers. Benedict, however, seems uninterested in the social whirl, often appearing aloof at society events. Sophie Beckett, now living as a servant under her stepmother Araminta's harsh rule, dreams of attending the masquerade. She serves her stepsisters, Rosamond and Posy, who treat her with disdain. Despite her lowly status, Sophie finds solace in reading Lady Whistledown's society papers, which offer a glimpse into the world she might have belonged to. On the night of the Bridgerton ball, Sophie is unexpectedly given the chance to attend. Thanks to the kindness of the household staff, they dress her in a beautiful gown that belonged to her grandmother and send her off with strict instructions to return by midnight. Sophie, feeling like a princess, arrives at the ball and captures the attention of everyone, including Benedict Bridgerton. Chapter 2. At the masquerade ball, Benedict is captivated by a mysterious woman in a silver dress and mask, who is none other than Sophie. They share a magical evening together, dancing and talking, and Benedict is struck by her beauty and intelligence. As the clock nears midnight, Sophie realizes she must leave to avoid being discovered. Benedict tries to learn the identity of his enchanting dance partner, but Sophie slips away, leaving him frustrated and longing to see her again. Sophie returns home just in time, her dreamlike night now a cherished memory. However, she knows she cannot reveal her true identity to Benedict or anyone else. Back at the Bridgerton household, Benedict is determined to find the woman who stole his heart. He searches tirelessly, questioning guests and investigating leads, but Sophie remains hidden. Meanwhile, Sophie returns to her harsh reality, her one night of happiness a bittersweet memory. Chapter 3. Sophie continues her duties as a servant, enduring the cruelty of Araminta and her stepsisters. Despite her hardships, she holds on to the memory of her night at the ball and the brief connection she shared with Benedict. She knows that she cannot hope for a better life, but the memory gives her strength. Benedict, unable to forget the mysterious woman, becomes increasingly disenchanted with the social scene. He attends events half-heartedly, always searching for the woman in silver. His family notices his distraction, particularly his mother, who worries about his future. As fate would have it, Benedict and Sophie cross paths again, though under very different circumstances. Benedict rescues Sophie from a difficult situation, not recognizing her as the woman from the ball. Despite her worn appearance, he is drawn to her and offers her a position in his household as a maid. Chapter 4. Sophie reluctantly accepts Benedict's offer, knowing it is her best chance to escape Araminta's cruelty. She moves into the Bridgerton household and begins working as a maid, trying to remain unnoticed and keep her distance from Benedict. However, their paths inevitably cross, and Bennet is intrigued by her presence. As Benedict and Sophie spend more time together, he begins to notice her intelligence and kindness, qualities that remind him of the woman from the ball. Sophie, on the other hand, struggles with her feelings for Benedict, knowing that any relationship between them is impossible due to their different social standings. Benedict becomes increasingly frustrated by his inability to find the woman from the ball and by his growing feelings for Sophie. He confides in his family, who encourage him to follow his heart. Despite his family's support, Benedict remains torn between his duty and his desire. Chapter 5. K. Benedict's feelings for Sophie deepen, and he becomes determined to learn more about her past. Sophie, however, is hesitant to reveal her true identity, fearing that it will only lead to more heartache. She is torn between her growing love for Benedict and her need to protect herself. One evening, Benedict confronts Sophie, demanding to know the truth about her past. Sophie reluctantly confesses her identity as the Earl of Penwood's illegitimate daughter. Benedict is shocked, but also deeply moved by her honesty and the hardships she has endured. Despite his initial shock, Benedict's feelings for Sophie only grow stronger. He admires her strength and resilience and begins to see a future with her. Sophie, however, remains cautious, knowing that their love faces many obstacles. Chapter 6. Benedict proposes a plan to Sophie. They will leave society behind and start a new life together, away from the constraints of their social positions. Sophie is tempted by the idea but worries about the repercussions for both of them. She knows that Benedict's family and society will not easily accept their relationship. Meanwhile, Araminta discovers Sophie's whereabouts and threatens to expose her to the Bridgertons, hoping to ruin her chances of happiness. Sophie is terrified but refuses to let Araminta control her life any longer. She stands up to her stepmother, determined to fight for her happiness. Benedict's family, particularly his mother, learns about his feelings for Sophie and the challenges they face. They are initially shocked but ultimately supportive, recognizing the love between them. With the Bridgertons' support, Benedict and Sophie decide to face society together, determined to overcome any obstacles in their path. Chapter 7. Benedict and Sophie make their relationship public, facing the judgment and gossip of society. Despite the challenges, they remain steadfast in their love for each other. Sophie is welcomed into the Bridgerton family, who admire her strength and resilience. Araminta, enraged by Sophie's defiance, attempts to sabotage their happiness, but is ultimately thwarted by the Bridgertons' support and Sophie's determination. Sophie finally finds a sense of belonging and acceptance, something she has longed for her entire life. In the end, Benedict and Sophie marry, proving that love can overcome even the most daunting obstacles. They start a new life together, surrounded by the love and support of the Bridgerton family. Sophie's journey from servant to beloved wife is complete, and she finally finds the happiness she deserves.